Hi, in this video we'll be looking at the human male reproductive system. Okay, now the human male reproductive system is simpler than that of the female reproductive system. The reason is that its work is just to produce and deliver sperm. More so, the human male reproductive system has a close relationship with that of the urinary system. But for that of the female, they have different tubes, different delivery process for the urinary system and that of the reproductive system. But for the male, they are closely related. And this is known collectively or traditionally as urinogenital system. So we have urinogenital system. All right. The urine, the word urine there, it gets rid of urine. It's from there, from urethra, urine gets out of the body. And genital is also an organ of reproduction. All right, so let's list the organs of the male reproductive system. So we have the first one, which is the scrotal sac. We have the second one, which is the testis. Okay, we have the third one, which is the seminiferous tubulus. We have the fourth one, which is the seminal vesicle. We have the fifth one, which is vasa efferentia. All right. We have the sixth one, which is the epididymis. We have the seventh one, which is vas deferens. We have the eighth one, which is the prostate. We have the ninth one, which is the Cowper's gland. We have the 10th one, which is the urethra. We have the 11th one, which is the penis. And the 12th one, which is the ejaculating duct. All right. Now, before we begin to discuss all these organs, we want to draw the process at which what is happening in the scrotal sac. All right. Now, let's pick up the scrotal sac for a moment. The scrotal sac, let's say we have a diagram like this. Okay, because inside the scrotal sac or the scrotum is the two oval shaped structure known as the testes. So let's say we have in the scrotal sac. All right, this is a scrotal sac. Inside the scrotal sac, all right, let me note that artistic. Okay, inside the scrotal sac, okay, we have the network of tubes. Okay, we have the networks of tubes. Then we can have the seminiferous tubulus here. Okay, so this is network of tubes. All right, so we have in it, we have the epididymis. All right, so this is the epididymis. All right, so what we have here is the epididymis. Then over here, which we have in the urethra. Now, please pay attention. Pay attention. Just pay attention to what I'm saying. All right, look up. Now, this guy is the network of tube. Network of tube. Now, this guy is the seminiferous tubulus. All right. Now, here is the vasa efferentia. I'll tell you why. Okay, now here, all right, let's take it here now, is the epididymis. All right, so here now, very close, is the vas deferens. You see, the vas efferential and vas deferens, I'll tell you the difference between the two. Now, here is the urethra. Now, this diagram illustrates to you how the process with which sperm passes to the urethra. Now, let's look at this diagram to study this. Now, for the scrotal sac, let's start with the scrotal sac. We're looking at this now. You can write the scrotal sac and then underline. Now, the scrotal sac provides the house or habitation for that of the two testes, the two ova testes. And more too, they provide a temperature of 2 to 3 degrees Celsius lower than the normal body temperature. All right. The reason being that high temperature reduce the efficiency of the production of sperm. So they lower the body temperature by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius. Normal body temperature is lower by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius because the scrotal sac is found outside the abdominal cavity. All right. Why God put it there is so that it can have the maximum and suitable temperature for the production of sperm. All right. Now let's move to the next one. The next one is the testis. So we're through with it. Mark out. The testis is two oval-shaped structure that produce the sperm and the male hormone known as testosterone. So for the testis, it produces the sperm plus the male hormone known as testosterone. Testosterone. So the sperm and testosterone is produced at the testis. But meanwhile, understand that it's not actually the testis. Correctly speaking, testis produce testosterone and sperm. Correct. But actually, correctively, it is the seminiferous tubules, the walls of the seminiferous tubules that produce the sperm. All right? The walls of the seminiferous tubules produce the sperm. Okay? All right. So the walls of the seminiferous tubules produce the sperm. All right? You know, we have the spermatogonia, to spermatocyte, to spermatotides, and then to spermatozoon. All right, that's another discussion for another day. All right, those processes there. Now, the sperm over here is produced by the walls of the seminiferous tubules. Now, in the seminiferous tubules, there is a cell known as the Leydig cell. This Leydig cell is also known as the interstitial cells. Okay, interstitial cells, either the Leydig cells or interstitial cells. The function of these cells is to produce the hormone known as testosterone. So this produces testosterone. All right, now you can see now that the testis, generally speaking, produce sperm and testosterone. Yes, but specifically speaking, it is the seminiferous tubules, walls of the seminiferous tubules, that produce sperm, and then the cells, which is Leydig cells or the interstitial cells, produce testosterone, which is a male sex hormone. In case you want to see our video on the female reproductive system, anatomy of female reproductive system, you need to check the description below. We'll drop the link to that video below. All right. Now, what's the function of the seminal vesicle? We have ticked out this. Okay, we're going to the seminal vesicle. Now, 60 to 70% of the fluid in the sperm is produced by the seminal vesicle. Now, come with me. Now, seminiferous tubules, look at the way they are coiled. Are you seeing that? There is about 1,000 seminiferous tubules in each of the testes, coiled seminiferous tubules, with about 50 cm long and 200 in diameter. All right, so you can see how magnificent God is in your, you understand? Okay, now, the seminiferous tubules produce sperm, and then I've told you that, but understand about 1,000 coiled seminiferous tubules in each of those testes, 50 cm long and 200 in diameter. Now let's go back to this seminal vesicle. 60 to 70% of the fluid in your semen is produced by the seminal vesicle. Now this seminal vesicle, I'll need a space for myself. Let's make use of this space. This seminal vesicle, Now this seminal vesicle secretes seminal fluid. All right, they secrete seminal fluid. Now this seminal fluid they secrete is fructose. Now when they secrete fructose into the sperm, that fructose energizes the sperm. All right, so 60 to 70% of fluid is secreted by the seminal vesicle, and this fluid contains fructose. Understand that. Now, for the vasa deferentia, we have discussed this. Now, for the vasa efferentia, which is found here, this collects the sperm, is a long tube, about 12 to 20 coiled tube of them, collect the sperm from the seminiferous tuberous into the epididymis. Now, the epididymis, so that's the function of this one cleared out. Now, the epididymis, which is this guy here, is a very long, narrow, tightly coiled tube that is attached to the back of the testis. Now, what are they doing here? They will collect the sperm keep it there for several days until the sperm matures. All right, there the sperm matured at the epididymis, and then they are also stored at the epididymis. They also learn how to swim at the epididymis. All right, so that's the function. Now, meanwhile, if the sperm is not used, it is reabsorbed by the body. But that's a topic for another day. All right, the process for another day. Okay, now we have talked about the epididymis. Now the vas deferens. Vas deferens collect the sperm from the epididymis and then transfer to the urethra. And the urethra pushes the sperm out. So we have discussed vas deferens, epididymis. All right, and vas efferentia. So I'm going to draw the male reproductive system. That's the next thing to do. Let's draw the male reproductive system. I'm not that artistic, but let's just manage the board. Let's see what we have here. Okay, how about something like this? How about something like this? Okay, just let's go with me. Go with me. All right, so we have something like this. All right, so over here, we have some collecting dots. Then we can have the vas deferens. All right, the vas deferens. So in the testis, I've drawn the diagram for you. All right, I've drawn the diagram for you. You can, check out that diagram. So we have it. All right, so this is the scrotum sac. All right, so this is what we have. Let's take this for an example. All right, now this is known as the bladder. This is called the bladder, where urine is stored. All right, now this is the urethra. All right, so this is the pubic bone. All right, so this is the vas deferens. Of course, this is the penis. Outside here is the penis. Let me pick up my pen. There's the penis. Okay, now this is the scrotal sac. Of course, I've drawn the scrotal sac for you. I've told you what is inside it. Now, inside here, we have the testis. Then we have the epididymis. All right, now here we have the prostrate. It's found below that bladder. All right, so we have the ejaculating duct. Before that, we have the seminal vesicle. All right. Now, look at what's happening here. We haven't discussed the prostrate. The prostrate here also secretes about 20 to 30% of fluid of the semen. So we have 20 to 30% of the fluid. Now, what is contained in the fluid that the prostrate is secreting? We have zinc, and we have citric acid. All right, the work of the prostrate is to nourish this fluid, nourish the sperm, all right, give it a nourishment, all right, and also secrete some alkaline substance that help to neutralize the pH level, the acidic pH level of the female reproductive system, all right. Now, but the major function of secreting alkaline substance is the Cowper's gland. So alkaline fluid, they secrete alkaline fluid. Now, which alkaline fluid, the pH of that fluid is alkaline nature, which reduce the pH of the female reproductive system. The female reproductive system is acidic normal, but when the sperm goes in, the fluid from the Cowper's gland and from the prostrate gland help to neutralize the pH of the female reproductive system, thereby enabling the sperm to survive. All right. Now, and the prostrate also help to push the sperm out during ejaculation. All right, ejaculating duct where the sperm passes through. All right, so we have the urethra. The urethra is where the sperm is coming from the vas deferens, which I've drawn for you. It's collected of the urethra, and then the urethra is where the sperm passes through during, is a narrow tube that passes through into the penis, where the sperm passes through during intercourse. And the penis is an intromittent organ. It is used to introduce the sperm into the vagina. So when you're expected to talk about the male anatomy or the male reproductive system anatomy, you just need to discuss this thing in details. But in summary, we have given it to you. And if you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section. When you begin to write your exam, you give these things in writing. All these things we summarize for you. You put it down in writing with your own words, with the way you understood it. Put it down in writing, and then your results will be wonderful. Okay, this is all we've got for you. If you have any question, drop it in the comment section. And again, if you have time, check out our video on the female reproductive system. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.